Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And we will share the screen here. That's right. August 10th. That's where we are in Asia. And our first topic, we're continuing with the Agamic aspect of temple worship. Last time we did part 1, and now we're doing part 2. Our next section looks at the Agamic concept of the sacredness of the Murti. As we quoted from the Sri Venkateswara website in the beginning session, Hindus believe that divine power has manifested itself in the Murti. Worshipping the Archa Avatara as Hari gives the devotees access to God and His power. So if anyone wasn't here last time, you might not quite relate to that. But the idea is that the Saiva and the Vaishnava Agamic traditions have a lot of similarities. And one of them is the way in which they look at the Murti. So the Vaishnava Agamic tradition has two divisions. One is Pancharatra and the other is Vaikanasa. So most temples outside of India are Pancharatra, but some are Vaikanasa. So this is a Pancharatra viewpoint that we're reading, and Archa Avatara means the Murti. Worshipping the Murti gives the devotees access to God and His power. Very beautifully said. This idea is found in Pancharatra text, Satvata Samhita, chapter 6, verse 22. When the perfectly designed image is systematically installed, He occupies the concerned image. By His gracious presence in that image, He gives concrete and visible expressions to all of His transcendental and imperceptible qualities. Beautifully said. So otherwise the qualities are transcendent without the Murti. So He gives concrete and visible expressions to them through the Murti. Swami Harshananda, this Encyclopedia of Hinduism, makes this statement about Archa, meaning the Murti. Archa is the form of the deity represented by an icon that is transmuted into the very form of the deity, full of the 6 divine attributes through the power of the mantras used in the installation, as well as subsequent worship. Sounds like my 3 C's of construction, consecration, and continuous daily worship. He's got 2 of them there. Consecration is the installation, and the continuous daily worship is subsequent worship. Therefore, the proper installation of the Archa Murti with the prescribed Agama procedures is very essential for the power of the Archa Murti. Even the man-made images, though prepared out of inanimate substances, can become alive if they are duly consecrated through the prescribed rites. Also required is the proper subsequent maintenance of the sanctity through pujas, utsavas, and other regular and proper worship. God who is omnipotent descends into such images with a subtle body. This is the Archa avatara, or incarnation for purposes of ordinary worship. Gurudeva also taught this principle. We worship God Shiva and the gods, who by their infinite powers spiritually hover over and indwell the image, or murti, which we revere as their temporary body. We commune with them through the ritual act of puja. A verse from the Saivite Agama, Ajita, states, Shiva Lingam Puja is for the purpose of invoking the presence of Sadashiva in the lingam. Pretty straightforward. In this illustration, a devotee looks within and beyond the Shiva Linga Murti to behold God, Lord Nataraja, here in his spiritual body of light. The man is performing his daily puja, chanting Sanskrit mantras, offering fruit, water, flowers, incense, and light, worshipping devoutly, beseeching God to send blessings through the enshrined image. Then we got a question to you. What communication device does Gurudeva compare to the Murti? Gurudeva continues, we may liken this mystery to our ability to communicate with others through the telephone. That's the answer, telephone. We do not talk to the telephone. Rather, we use the telephone as a means of communication with another person who is perhaps thousands of miles away. Without the telephone, we could not converse across such distances. And without the sanctified murti in the temple or shrine, we cannot easily commune with the deity. Both are instruments of communication. Stone or metal deity images enshrined in the temple are not mere symbols of God and the gods. They are not mere inert idols, but the forms through which divine love, power, and blessings flood forth from the inner world of the gods into this physical world. As we progress in our worship, we begin to adore the image as the deity's physical body, for we know that he is actually present and conscious in it during puja, aware of our thoughts and feelings, and even sensing the pujari's gentle touch on the metal or stone. So that's the Saivite point of view. He's conscious in it during puja, not all the time. So, how does that work? Well, we invite him, right? We go avahana toward the beginning. We invite the deity to become conscious in and through the murti. And then at the end we have visarjana. We say, now, thank you very much for coming, and now you're welcome to leave. So, funny aspect of visarjana is when it's done at my Pada Puja, they're chanting for me to leave, but they're not realizing that's what they're chanting. So I'm supposed to get up and leave, but of course I don't. I ignore that suggestion. Vision of Shiva, Gurudeva's vision of Lord Shiva, subsequent creation of Iraivan temple. Gurudeva had a unique vision of Lord Shiva on February 15, 1975. Gurudeva was in his room at Kauai Sindhu Monastery in a state of deep sleep. He was in one of these profound states of slumber that are neither awake nor full of dreams, his conscious mind fully present. In this clear space above physical consciousness, the 48-year-old Satguru experienced a threefold vision that would be the spiritual birth of the great Shiva citadel called Iraivan Temple and its surrounding Samarga sanctuary. Here is the description of this powerful vision in Gurudeva's own words. One early morning before dawn, a threefold vision of Lord Shiva came to me. First I beheld Lord Shiva walking in a valley. Then I saw his face peering into mine. Then he was seated on a large stone, his reddish golden hair flowing down his back. That was February 15th, 1975. Oh, that's a long time ago, 50 years. Upon entering earthly consciousness, I felt certain that the great stone was somewhere on our monastery land, set about to find it. Guided from within by my Satguru, I hired a bulldozer and instructed the driver to follow me as I walked to the north edge of the property that was then a tangle of buffalo grass and wild guava. I mean, it was seriously overgrown. You couldn't see what was in it. It was so overgrown. It was an overgrown abandoned cow pasture. I hacked my way through the jungle southward as the bulldozer cut a path behind me. After almost half a mile, I sat down to rest near a small tree. Though there was no wind, suddenly the tree's leaves shimmered, as if in the excitement of communication. I said to the tree, "What is your message?" In reply, my attention was directed to a spot just to the right of where I was sitting. When I pulled back the tall grass, there was a large rock, the self-created linga on which Lord Shiva had sat. A stunningly potent vibration was felt. Gurudeva gathered his monks and told them, the bulldozer's trail led exactly to the sacred stone, surrounded by 5 smaller boulders. Sanmarga, the straight or pure path to God, had been created. An inner voice proclaimed, this is the place where the world will come to pray. Sanmarga symbolizes each soul's journey to liberation through union with God. Gradually, a master plan for the Sanmarga sanctuary was unfolded from the divanic or angelic worlds. The plan included the ambitious goal of a hand-carved traditional Chola-style granite temple for Lord Shiva to be called Iraivan Temple. Nice photo. Painting, I mean. It is said that the most powerful temples are those founded by the gods themselves through visions. Certainly to have such a powerful vision of Lord Shiva as the initial impetus for a temple is one of Iraivan Temple's unique and important qualities. Every day since Gurudeva's powerful vision of Lord Shiva, the Swayambhu Lingam on Sanmarga has received a daily puja from the monastics at the Adinam. In this way, the spiritual vibration of Gurudeva's vision has been preserved over the years. The Iraivan Temple is located nearby the sacred lingam, and it will draw on the vibration of the Swayambhu Lingam and over the years intensify that vibration. In June 2007, an article on the temple was released on Associated Press news service, the largest news service in the U.S. and published in over 100 major newspapers in North America, plus a few in other countries. The article reads, in a clearing within Kwai Adinam's lush gardens, the ping-ping-pinging of metal chipping at stone can be heard over the sounds of bird calls. That's very charming. A half-dozen artisans from South India put the finishing touches on the Hindu monastery's legacy for the ages. And carved in granite and shipped in pieces to the island from India, the Iraivan Temple is faithful to the precise design formulas divined by South Indian temple builders 1,000 years ago. The $12 billion temple to God Shiva is the first hand-carved all-stone Hindu temple outside of India, according to the Kwai monks. The project is a rarity even in India. End of article. The article overall was a positive one and generally accurate, which is unusual as major newspapers and news services tend to be at least somewhat skeptical or critical of Hindu activities. One phrase in the article caught my attention, which is a statement that Iraivan is a temple to the god Shiva. So what's wrong with that wording? I'll ask a question without my question slide here. What's wrong with that wording? It's incorrect. What's wrong is this wording unfortunately makes Shiva one of many gods. A better wording would have been, Iraivan is a temple to God, who this denomination of Hindus calls Shiva. So that's subtle, but important. It's a temple to God, not to Shiva, who is one of many gods. And that idea is part of Gurudeva's idea of calling our two temples here, Iraivan and Kadavul. They both have the meaning of God, Supreme Being, Iraivan Kadavul. In fact, the shrine for God Shiva is the only shrine the temple has. This contrasts with the modern trend to put a large number of deities representing all the major sects in the same temple. This is done in North America. Even the traditional Saivite shrines for Lord Ganesha and Lord Murugan will be outside the temple, allowing the devotees to singularly focus on God Shiva without being distracted by the vibrations from other deity shrines. This is another of Iraivan's unique aspects. So the only deity vibration in the whole temple is Shiva. Shiva lingams that are composed of crystal are called spatika lingams. Temples such as Chidambaram, Meenakshi Sundareshwara Temple, Ramanatha Swami, and Ekambaranadar all have small ones that are brought out for a special puja and then returned to a sacred storage place. Iraivan Spatika Lingam is special because of its large size and the fact that it is installed as the main murti. The base that holds it is a massive avudayar crafted near Swami Malai, Tamil Nadu. It's really big. Shiva lingams are traditionally made from 9 different types of precious stones. According to Agamas, those of crystal are considered the most refined and said to satisfy all desires. Gurudeva gave this description of Iraivan Spatika Lingam. The temple's 700-pound, 50 million years in the making crystal icon is a kalpaha, spiritual wish-fulfilling, ever-giving Shiva Lingam. So many blessings await each pilgrim. None is ever neglected. Strictly following ancient scriptural treatises, this 100-foot-long, 35-foot-tall, 3.5 million-pound Chola-style temple is being built according to divine architectural knowledge to channel and focus the spiritual power of the crystal Shiva Linga, representing the supreme god Shiva, Parameshvara Parashakti Parameshvara Parashakti Parashiva. Sculpted stone panels tell in pictures and potent aphorisms the temple's story and mystical philosophy of Saivism. Gurudeva made some important statements about the unique nature of Iraivan Temple, which I would like to share next. The first is that Iraivan grants freedom from the past and a vision for the future. Here is his detailed explanation. Iraivan, with Lord Shiva facing south, is a moksha temple. This means that being in the presence of its sanctorum, brings the pilgrim closer to freedom from rebirth on this planet. The vibration of the temple wipes away the dross of the subconscious vasanas and simultaneously heals the wounds of psychic surgery. Takes away encumbrances and releases the pristine beauty of the soul. As pilgrims leave the Sanmarga sanctuary, they are escorted back the way they came, along Sanmarga, through the Rudraksha meditation forest, with a new self-image and clear understanding of the purpose of life on planet Earth. So that's important. A new self-image. Changes your self-image when you really get deeply into the worship at Iraivan Temple. Having a new self-image gives you a clearer understanding of your purpose. Now, the point Gurudeva stressed is that being a moksha temple in the center of a cloistered monastery, Iraivan is by no means a tourist attraction. It is a punya tirtha, a sacred destination for devout pilgrims who come with this one goal in mind, having received permission early on and begun preparing themselves far in advance through fasting, meditation, and prayer in anticipation of receiving the darshan of Iraivan, performing daily sadhana on Sanmarga. Gurudeva stated, in 1995, as we look into the future, we see Iraivan fully completed. As a center, Vasavites will come to find the center of themselves. We will preserve it and maintain it so that it is the way Rishikesh used to be, a proper, pure, quiet place where devotees can go within themselves through the practice of Raja Yoga. There are very few such places left on the earth now. Kauai Sindhu Monastery is one of them. It is not a place for ordinary people, curiosity seekers, or tourists. It is a place to which people will be drawn who have made themselves pure by self-effort through sadhana. I see Iraivan as Mount Kailasa, or the Amarnath cave Icelingam, a silent citadel hidden within a rainforest on the furthest landmass from all continents. I see Iraivan as a yoga citadel, a place of pilgrimage for the devout, sincere, and dedicated. I see Iraivan as India's message to the world. On Visitors' Day, when Hindus and non-Hindus alike come to admire the great artistry of the Silpi tradition, guided by the Vastu Shastras, I see Iraivan as a fulfillment of Parampara, Scripture, and Temple, the three pillars of Saivism. This is a place where you do not have to invoke God, for God is here. For this is where heaven meets the earth. Nice statements from Gurudeva there. Oh, here we have an add-on. 2 recent aerial photos of Iraivan Temple highlighting the surrounding sacred gardens. So it's amazing how the gardens are really mature at this point. Look like they've been there forever. Doesn't that look like a painting? It's just an aerial photograph. Very nice. Okay, second topic. "64 character qualities" from our workbook. 59th, tactfulness. How would you define tactfulness? The workbook gives this definition. Tactfulness means being diplomatic and skillful in dealing with people and situations. I strengthen it by being considerate of others' feelings and responding to disagreements judiciously, seeking solutions that offend no one. The opposite is tactlessness. Diplomacy, a kind of love, one not wanting to hurt another fellow man, one not wanting to hurt one's fellow man. Suppression of the emotions of hate and anger brings about a kind of harmony. These are the products of the intellect, which when developed into a strong intellectual sheath is able to control the baser emotions through controlled memory, controlled reason, and controlled willpower, the three faculties of our ability to govern forces of nature. And the second quote here, be tactful in what you say and say it always with a smile. That's good advice. Sometimes we forget to smile. Reflection. Take a moment to identify a few ways in which you could improve in tactfulness. And the third topic, quotes from Yoga Swami's words of our master. Swami sang, bliss, bliss, nothing but bliss. I am here, I am there, I am everywhere. So this is one of my few Tamil sentences. Anandam, 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 ingum, angum, engum, nan. Beautiful. What does that mean to you? Most sayings about being everywhere attribute it to Shiva. Shiva is everywhere. It is rare to read, I am everywhere, and shows how natural the state was to Yoga Swami. The delusion of learning and the delusion of popularity. What does that mean to you? It is easy to get overly involved in increasing one's intellectual knowledge and in increasing one's popularity to the neglect of spirituality. And the last quote here, remain doing Atma Puja. What does that mean to you? Yoga Swami is stressing that the highest form of worship is meditation, that monism is deeper than theism. Thank you very much. Om.